Cover, K-O-P-E-R.
Okay, great.
And there's at least one other meeting I think I'm gonna see you at, hopefully, so.
Okay, good.
Okay, yes, I'm sorry I interrupted you because you were telling him I just took one the Robert Moore Award.
Yeah, last year, right?
May, yeah, for last year.
Yeah.
That was
That's
nice.
the award we give for citizen.
Oh, congratulations. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
And I won the one from the Westland Historic Society this year.
Yeah.
What was that one called? No, it's not called. Oh, well.
Congratulations.
And I won that one last year.
And I did.
Actually, if you go back into the
No
little
pressure,
thing,
right?
you go back into the little things that I have framed that I moved with me, technically in Westland. Moved to Roseville because I needed to not garden and 30 minutes. Anyway, I have this frame thing that said I was Westland citizen of volunteer to be in whatever. In 07 or something like that. And then again, a similar thing, Chamber Citizen of the Year in 13 or something. And it's like, there's this little group of people, but the institutional memory moves on. And there's, it's even smaller in the preservation community.
And we should set up because the meeting needs to start.
Oh, we all
here?
We don't have to,
Right.
we don't even,
Where's
John
James?
still
Where's
said he
James?
did accept it and he was gonna accept it online.
But we need more than just John.
Yeah, we need four members.
Yeah.
Dan Salty, could not come. He's coaching his son's football team. And,
Regina
and
Brianne. Have you heard from them?
it was Brianne that said that no, it was, Sherry DeVos, who said she couldn't come. So other than that, I didn't hear from anyone.
Okay,
But hopefully
But
we have
we might be
people.
back in a month doing this.
Yeah.
Maybe we could just share some more information. No, but you can't even call, you can't even have a meeting.
Yeah, or, yeah, because we have to repeat everything at the second meeting. We don't, we'd have to have a meeting again. Jody used to be on the city council.
I was on the city council for 6 years, and before that, I was on planning commission for 5.5 years. And so the boards that I'm on the historical Willamette Main Street, and we want you to come and talk with us about some of the things that are on this agenda, which are mainly the historic signage and wayfinding. Because we were the ones who initially said, we really need some wayfinding. And we have been involved in a project to do historic signage in Willamette. And we talked with the Westland Historic Society about broadening that project, and we want to do more historic signage and wayfinding. And we have lots of background information we collected on things that we would like to see the city do. And so this is a project that got put on hold until you were hired. And now we want to be involved. I'm also on the board of the Willamette Falls and Landings Heritage Area Coalition. We're the ones that have managing historic city hall and want to really see, the heritage really highlighted. And the third group that I'm on board of is the Advocates for Willamette Falls Heritage. And there's 2 agenda items that I was wanting to talk with people about here, is that we have done, there's John Steele. One more person.
Hi, John. We may not have a quorum.
So,
Oh, there's James.
then there's James.
Yeah.
He's
So we have
one
3.
person.
We need one more person to show
I
up.
may end up repeating this. If not, I'll finish it.
Can we hear you? I haven't heard John or James speak yet. Can we hear you guys?
Well, they're both.
James, can you hear us, James? Can you nod if you hear us? John Steele, can you hear us? Can you?
Is that thing on?
We're,
Is that on? Is this on?
Seems like the microphone's moving.
Oh,
yeah, see, our microphone is moving.
okay.
Oh, they can't hear.
You try unmute participants down there. See where it says unmute participants?
John Steele, you're unmuted. He can't hear either.
See where it says at the bottom of your screen there, Lynn?
Yeah.
Up the other side, where it says unmute participants, right there.
Does that do anything?
They can now unmute themselves.
Okay,
Yay.
But they said they can't hear us. I can hear.
John says I can hear. James, can you hear us?
Wait, we can hear you, John.
Okay, great.
Speak.
Can you, this is John Steele. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can, and we can see you. James, you're still, your microphone is still muted. And we're not sure if you can hear us.
We still need one more person for
Yeah.
quorum.
If we don't have it, then I'll finish my little spiel of introductions. Because I will try to come next month, but I'm not sure if I can.
Did you do the down arrow and select your microphone, James?
Well, you come in far away. Jim.
Can you type to him and ask him?
I cannot hear.
Oh, okay.
Let's,
Well, maybe we have a consensus. So.
Yeah.
What is the meeting next month? This is the,
oh, he's going in and out again.
Okay.
That often helps.
Great.
Let's see if, yep, yeah, we're running on YouTube, so people get this on YouTube, so.
Oh,
So it's not us.
okay.
oh no, it's a Tuesday. So I guess I will. It's the same day, so I think.
And we can hear John. So I think it was, his microphone. And sometimes if you do Zoom, well, in the past, Zoom had, WebEx and Zoom had fight.
Oh, who gets dibs on the microphone?
Yeah, so you have to select it.
Hmm.
Got it. But, so Dan's not here. Sherry's not here, but, Regina. Brianne, let's see.
John, we're waiting to see if James can join and hear us and we can hear him. And we're also waiting to see if we have one more board member join us so that we have a quorum.
I don't have any emails from, anyone.
Oh, yes, the district emails.
Not a bad way of starting.
Okay.
All right, James.
So it's James, so, 10 minutes and we don't have a quorum, so I'm not sure that we can have this meeting. But, do we want Steve to introduce himself at least to the people that are here?
Sure. You want to give it a couple more minutes or should I just go ahead and jump in?
Well, we usually wait about 10 minutes, but we can wait 15.
And there's no reason to start the meeting officially because we can't.
Yeah,
Right.
Quorum, right?
and I don't know that, James Manning, we can hear you.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right.
Yay, James is in the room.
All right.
And I think it would be great to hear about staff because I'm the first time I'm coming to this board meeting.
Okay, well, I'm welcome. As I said, we're not going to be really having the HRB meeting because there's not a quorum, but I will tell you that my name's Lynn Schroeder. I am the staff liaison. I've been with the cities for 6 years and I've been staffing the HRB for about a year now. And Kirsten is our chair.
Yeah, I've been on the HRB for about 2 years, and I'm an architect with an interest in historic preservation, and I became chair maybe 6 months ago.
James and John, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm James Manning. I've been on and off the HRB for the last 12 years, probably. And this is my, I think, second year on this go around. So
I think it might be your third.
might be my third go around.
Yeah, your third year.
My third year. Okay. Yeah, it's been fun.
I think it's good.
He's a good resource.
Mhm.
And John Steele did our did a presentation at the McLean House dedication. It was a very nice presentation. Want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thank you. I'm John Steele. I've been on the HRB a while. I don't know, a few years. And, but also was a city councilor and on the budget committee and on the planning commission, going back to about the time that Clinton was president. So been around quite a while at the city. So far, I don't think I've negatively impacted the city of West Linn.
And I think it's worth noting that James and John both have lived in West Linn when they were children.
I know.
So they remember things that somebody like a newcomer, like myself,
James,
wouldn't know.
his grandparents lived in the house I currently live in.
Is it the parsonage?
No,
No.
No.
it's the Mass House, Sheriff Mass House,
Oh, okay.
Yes.
historic district.
Neat.
Yeah.
And I was on the first historic review board with James. But I've
Yeah,
only been around.
oh, never mind. Sorry.
Sandy Carter,
Yeah. Who's in the room? I recognize Jody and
Sandy
Kristen.
Carter.
Oh, Sandy.
Yeah, hi, James.
How are you? And who's the gentleman? Sorry.
Yep, we're close enough to the quarter hour I can go. I'm Steve Coker. I'm the new community development director for West Linn. So I manage the planning and building divisions within the city. And so Lynn is part of the planning division. And so I work with her. And so here to introduce myself and just hopefully if we have a quorum, listen to the meeting and learn a little more. And if not, then I guess I'll be here next month. But it's great to meet you all that are here.
And who was in your role before? Was that
That's the community development director is a new position.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Relatively. I mean, John Williams, the current city manager, was at some point, but the position was configured differently. See, so
I see.
yeah, new position.
Yes.
I saw John today.
Okay, well, since we can't have a meeting, can we at least have a conversation and hear what Jody and Sandy would,
Sure, and we'll try to come back next time.
okay,
You know, we can, if we can, we will.
is that okay if we do that?
Let's go ahead.
And as I was mentioning to folks earlier, and John and James both know this about me, so I was mentioning that I was involved with Historical out Main Street, and we've been working on this wayfinding project. And we've got, if you come down to Willamette, you'll find on many of the buildings, there's the storage plaques. And we are the ones who do the walking tour brochure, and we really wanted the city to do wayfinding and incorporate more of the historical information. And we have partnered with the Westland Historic Society in the past and want to continue to do that and see that as fitting in with one of the goals of your work plans here in this committee. So I think I was telling Lynn before you came that for all of the organizations that I'm part of, we really want to partner with the Historic Review Board, because there's been some times in the past where we've had sort of duplicative parallel processes, which waste a lot of resources. And so if there's a way we can minimize that, and with the wayfinding, that's one that Main Street has been involved with. And the second place where there's a lot of opportunity is around the mill and any kind of inventory, because we've been working with the mill and PG on the 106 process, which they need to go through when they close Mill A. And we did a lot of work in terms of developing lists of inventories and pictures. So then we got a pretty comprehensive list of pictures. And I gave Linn a contact, so maybe you guys can go on a tour on Monday at the mill. But we also have gotten some historic materials from the mill's own museum. And so rather than having you get a grant and doing something that is sort of duplicative, if we can partner and figure out where we could really help fill in some blanks or coordinate those efforts would make a lot of sense rather than having it be a duplicative process. And obviously, it'd be really interesting and see as much of the mill history preserved and interpreted. And so that's really important. And I think the Willamette Falls and Landings Heritage Area Coalition also, as part of the waterfront projects, has been testifying at the planning commission meetings and at the different community meetings about really wanting to make sure the heritage down at the mill and PGR power plant and so on gets interpreted. And so I know Sandy has done a lot of history in terms of the mill, in terms of her books and some videos, which we were talking to Linn about. So I really see that there's some really good synergy. I was very excited to see the work plan. And I think there's some real opportunities where we can participate in a collaborative fashion and be helpful in whatever, paths you choose to go down. But I think the more we can coordinate those efforts rather than having sort of parallel processes going on.
That's great.
Hey, Jody, just a point. Last week I'd met with someone and they had said, just in passing, that some of the equipment that was pulled out of Mill A that was down by the warehouse has disappeared.
That may be true. I know that the PG has to, for the 106 process, they had to store a lot of the equipment that we identified on the inventory we did with them as a part of the remediation plan. Some of the materials were stored in the warehouse, and there were a couple of others. There was another stockpile somewhere, and Dan, one of the people on our board, and another person who's working with down there said he's concerned that some of this stuff may have disappeared, though Kenny, what's Kenny's last name? Sandy. Kenny.
Oh, PGE?
Yeah. Oh, great. Anyway, Kenny, who's been the person from PGE, said that he thinks most of the materials are still there that were deemed as some of the equipment that could be saved and stored safely somewhere off the island. Most of that stuff is still stored, so it needs some place to live or have a home and be interpreted. But there's a lot of stuff that has gone missing from the island. There's been people down there taking stuff, and I know that there's been some real concerns. And then, of course, they're now auctioning off materials as well. So there's some materials that have been saved. Also, just FYI, down in sort of the bowels of the buildings, especially on Mill A, there's still several grinders that have been left. There's quite a bit of things still left there that were not removable. Whether or not the PGE will ever allow people down there to have access, but they're really cool, and it's really cool catacombs. So if you have a chance, if you go down there, Linn, you've got to make sure you can be able to go up and down ladders and
Oh, okay.
Hard
hat territory down there. But so James, I think there is some stuff that PGE has expressed some concern that may have gone missing, and Dan from the advocates board has also expressed that concern. So that's it's sort of critical in terms of at least getting good documentation. And so the person that Dan's been going down there with, Peter Schwartz, has been taking the two of them have been taking lots and lots of photographs. And PGE has also participated in trying to really get a pretty comprehensive photographic record, because they want to be able to produce, they have this is another piece of the inventory. They have this other virtual tour of the mill before the stuff was taken out,
Oh, okay.
that you can sort of zoom in to different aspects. It's sort of a 3D cool thing that they have done as part of their inventory process of Mill A, and I think they did that in some other parts of the mill as well. How extensive it was, they had the money, they had to do it as part of the 106 for Mill A, but the rest of the mill, I don't know how extensive. I know they've taken a lot of photographs of like the power part of it. There was a power plant in there that besides the mill had a power plant in addition to the Beach East
Yeah.
station. And that some of the other equipment in the other parts of the mill, I know they have some documentation of. So that's what I'm saying. I think we need, if we can coordinate a lot of that. BGE has a lot of materials and we have some for access to those. So that's going to be a really important thing to make sure that that stuff doesn't get lost, as it were.
So, sorry. Sorry about that. How much stuff are you talking about?
Well, that's hard to know because I don't know
Like,
what's.
are you talking like a room that would fill the mill itself? Like,
No. The equipment that's been saved, there's probably 15, 16 pieces of equipment that have been saved. There's some stuff that's still on site, and they have one small warehouse. And they had a storage unit as well, so it's not a huge amount. And some of that stuff, we were hoping at some point might get to be used in front of City Hall, historic City Hall, as sort of, in a sculpture garden or something else. I mean, they still need to find a way to interpret those materials. We had originally talked with them as part of this 106 process of having a path along the river with some of those pieces of equipment where there could be signage and interpretation, along with other signage about the early settlement and maybe the Native American history. But so far, Megan Big John wasn't very supportive of the concept at that point, having a path down the river with that kind of, those kinds of materials on it. I don't know if she still feels that way or not, but that, I know she's had further conversations with them about it. So, and some of the material from their museum is just some boxes of materials, a lot of materials that could be scanned, paper materials. So, and of course, there's stuff in the Box Museum, but not a lot down there. Sandy, you know any more about that?
About the contents of the Lock Museum?
No, about the things that are the equipment and stuff that we had as part of that 106 discussion and the stuff that the guys brought out of the museum.
Well, first, I guess I wanted to just ask Steve. You're familiar with what a 106 process is?
Vaguely, but not as long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, it's the that are considered eligible for the National Register, but nationally, and they are on the list. Need to go through this process before they can be messed with.
Actually, the only,
And the PGE is not on the list, but it's always acted as though and worked in conjunction with the State Historic Preservation Office to align with everything that's usually required under the 106.
actually on the 106, they are required to do it if any federal money was spent, which is why Mill A.
Yeah.
Which is why Mill A actually needed to be inventoried and we have done this process because the dam wall and parts of that.
Right, the turbines are still in the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission dam.
Right,
They're stuck in it.
so they have to.
So I just wanted to make sure that you were getting what this 106 is, because
Thank you.
the majority of people have no clue what a 106 is, and I don't know, the depths of it or the stuff. So, okay, I wanted to sort of just come and introduce myself too. I think the staff is a great opportunity. I'm so glad that you did that. I've been showing people around the island and through these buildings since 2003, when we had the first block, or 2002-1 maybe, when we founded what is now the Advocates. Jody started it out, they came on fairly early. So I've been touring the island with people, so has Jody, for 25 years or so. And I've in fact organized tours of the Society for Industrial Archaeology and the National Trust for Historic Preservation, which both had Portland conferences in different years. And Susanna Quo, who saved the iron furnace in Lake Oswego, and I organized three-way tours of the mill blocks and the power plant in the past. And these people came from all over the United States to see this place and were just bothered. I don't and haven't believed for a long time that because of the nature of the population and demographics in Westland, that our folk here don't really appreciate what they've got. And we're not like the East Coast where they see a lot of industry and a lot of old things being saved. And when I was on the Historic Review Board, I became aware that basically, okay, this is not good, but I'll say it. I thought, this is just for pretty old houses in the Willamette district. We don't have enough money to do much else. And it didn't really seem to be in the purview at that time. I'm thrilled to have this city council list of things that, and I read the minutes of last month's meeting, James. Your comments about saving mill inventory and talking to Brian Conan, and I was delighted. But we all both working that. And in addition, now I'm on the Willamette Falls Locks Authority. We haven't talked about the locks here, but it is on the National Register. So it's another interesting property in this constellation of things down there that we're not quite sure how we can protect or preserve. So I just wanted to come and get behind things on this list that relate to the mill history, to preservation itself. And I'm now in conversation with someone who's doing a woman in labor project who is interested in the site, whatever may remain of it, I'm afraid, as a site for the first women who worked in heavy industry in the 70s after the Equal Opportunity Act. Women mill workers have never had their story told with a site attached to it. And we have the interviews of two women who did that in the book that we created about 15 years ago. So, and I just think there's going to be a lot of national attention on this site. This will be a winner if we can save something that tells the story, because the other side story of industry is going to be gone completely. We are the place that can tell the story of the communities that were built by the mill work and power plant work and the logs.
So, so you read the minutes and that you came in and you're, so if we pursued a heritage grant opportunity, what would be what would you think the focus should be of that?
Well, it depends on, I'm a grant writer, it depends on what the grant is for. How you, yeah.
Right. Well, originally it was conceived as a kind of an oral history, but you've already done the oral history, so we don't need to do
Yeah, and Kenny, he was going to do that too, but he basically said, well, you've kind of done that too.
Yeah. So, so what, what would be the city's role in pursuing a grant?
Well, I see that as later, and it would be defined later. Right now, grants take time. This could all be gone. It could be moot point. There may be nothing to write a grant for if somehow. And where this intersects with the waterfront plan is super important. Yeah, super important. In our view, the heritage needs and the importance of it have not attained the profile that they might have, that we feel that they should have in this waterfront planning process, in spite of Jim Edwards, who's on our board best efforts. And so that's the fear, is that this, what I won't talk for anybody but me, my personal self. I think it's a very pedestrian draft of this waterfront plan. And this is not a pedestrian site. This is a unique place that is important and could have international development down there. And if somebody rushes in and does something, a crew, you know, that looks like every other mall and apartment building in America, that it's gonna be a tremendous loss for the city. And I won't say anything else, because I wasn't really gonna talk about that.
You know, when you're saying about the grant, I mean, I have to read the grant more thoroughly, but I think that there's some opportunities in terms of coordinating on the inventory and making sure that we have the inventory, we know what things can be, whether it's oral history, we talked about, you know, photographs. There may be some ways to look at some of the things that are already existing and sort of pulling them together in a way that makes sense, because right now it's scattered. And if somebody doesn't happen to stumble across the book about the mill interviews, it's going to get lost. And the same thing with some of the photos of the mill and some of those things. So there needs to be a way to sort of inventory what still is there that can be shared with people and figuring out a way to make it available to the public. So I would see that could be a potential grant opportunity. You know, PGE's done some of that as part of their 106, but where does that live then? Is that something that, how are people going to get to it? Or how do people even know that some of these resources exist? So that may be a way to look at the grant. It's just trying to figure out a way to find a place for it to live and to make sure it's accessible to the, you know, to the public, people who are interested, and maybe try to get a few more people in the public interested in it. So, I mean, that's one thought.
I actually came up with an idea that, just really quick, since we're still answering the Brian question. Jody and I, since 2003, both been on Portland General Electric Interpretation and Education Committee for Cultural Resources that fell out of the FERC relicensing in 2004. And we go to these meetings.
John Williams is on that.
John is on it too. He's the city manager. He's on it, whether, you know, I don't remember what happened last time, but we meet annually and are encouraged to bring forth suggestions for grants because they have, right, I don't know, I think it's 10,000 a year now because they have spent it in different funds. That's like
FERC money?
Yes, it's
Yes.
FERC money for cultural resource preservation. The committee is populated mostly by the historic preservation council members on several tribes, as well as SHPO, and the city representative, and Jody and I, and who else, Jody? And PGE, because he's a staff to it, but he runs it. So that is a grant opportunity, and it's coming up in December. If the city can, you know, maybe talk with Kenny, because he's a great guy on this preservation stuff.
Get it done.
Kenny Gunn.
Get it done. And he's the historic properties representative. And I think I've mentioned that once before to this group. I mean, I think they're the ones, he's the one who's coordinated the effort to do the pictorial inventory of the mill equipment.
The Greenway Trail.
And the Greenway Trail, and he's been real involved, and he's been working with Megan and the coalition to try to get some of the mill equipment in front of Historic City Hall as some kind of an interpretive piece. But Kenny's PGE in the past has used that money for a video about the history of Willamette Falls, which I don't even know what the link to that is. I think it's on PGE. PGE has talked about having a website around the history of the falls, but once again, these are all resources that sort of, unless you know they're there.
One of their current grants is to help move the Lady B tugboat to the city
Yeah, they give us
at
that.
any time that we.
Will they be tugboat?
Yes.
Is that different than the other tugboat we are?
No,
That
It's
is,
the same
Lady-
same
Lady
thing.
B.
no, they gave us a grant, that PGE fund was, gave us a grant from the.
PGE, yeah, did that. So anyway, that's focused on the falls, it's focused on West Linn, and it's an ideal place to develop a project. But I don't have enough information to know what it would be right now. We'd almost have to have a little summit conference with everybody that's got their hands in this, trying to help, and ask everybody, what's your priority, what can be done? Talk about how much would the budget be and stuff like that. and then just get something up before December for the future talk about.
Right, and it could be coordinated with whatever, with that grant. There's a lot of times, if you have some kind of matching, it's necessary. So,
I didn't know there was a group called the Society of Industrial Archaeology, but I'm super interested to learn more about them.
Cool.
And see how they would be really helpful.
Well, I mean, I should take you up and show you some of our treasure. We have a few things.
I would love to.
yes.
Great.
Well, thank you for your comments and,
Thanks for me.
that's good information. And this wasn't an HRB meeting, but we did get information from you, so, and this is on YouTube, so. And I will, and will be posted. Okay. All right. Well, other than that, I don't think we can really, really really talk about the agenda other than that, so.
Thanks a lot.
Great. Adjourn our meeting.
And if you would like us to come back to the actual meeting, either one or both of us, we will try to.
Okay.
But since you have the information, you guys can also relay it in part of the discussion, because I think anybody from the advocates or from the historical institute or the coalition, anybody would be very willing to come and talk about any specific projects. We can help coordinate that and facilitate that.
And none of them are static, just we have to wait a month. We have new things to say. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Bye,
Thank you
guys.
guys for tuning in tonight.
My contact.
Thank you.
Yours.
Good night.
You
Yep.
guys.
Here.
Well, all right.
James.
James.